Welcome to episode 7 of the Crossrealm Podcast, the entertainment podcast hosted by CRR Gaming Group members. Today is April 19th, 2018. You can reach the show by emailing crossrealmrebellion@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at crossrealmpod on Twitter. You can grab the RSS feed, get our show notes, and leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/crossrealmpodcast and apply to join us in-game at crossrealmrebellion.com. I see you trying to mess me up there, Criikette.
Never. Nothing of the sort.
Anyway, so speaking of the devil, no. Let's introduce
Tell us how you really feel, Willektron.
Anyway, first we have Criikette.
What's up?
We have Esme Rando Sky.
Hi.
Faux Render.
Hello.
Big Blue.
Howdy, howdy.
Gigabyte.
Hi.
And myself, Willektron.
I was bringing it back old school.
What? I don't. Bo took like a second away from eating whatever he's eating in round 4. I feel like he's gonna eat like a sub. He's dipping something, and then he's also had nuggets, I think.
Hey, I gotta give it to him. He's getting creative with that dip.
I think I'm gonna jar this dip. It's actually decent.
So
it's
what
not
are
bad.
you putting in the dip?
Okay, I had some potato chips, and I didn't have any dip.
Good place to start.
I don't have any sour cream and stuff like that to make a dip. So what I did was I took some mayo, and I put a little bit of sriracha, thanks to Blue's suggestion. I added some bacos and a little bit of garlic, and it's actually pretty good. And I've been dunking my chips into this dip I just made.
Does sound pretty decent, actually.
Yeah, it sounds good now that you added all that stuff. You should tell them what it originally started off with.
It was just
going to be
mayo
and bacos. Like, that's all it was.
Oh. I mean, I guess it's not that much different than people who just dip their fries in mayo.
Yeah, it's like kind of the same thing. I dip my fries in mayo all the time.
I'm not a big mayo fan, personally.
Mayo and a little ketchup.
And don't try and say Miracle Whip is the same thing, because I will ban you from my social
Miracle Whip's a
media.
lie.
Miracle Whip is the same thing.
Fake news.
It's a kind of mayo.
Let me know if Gigabyte talks, because I just banned him.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you know is I was just scrolling through Twitter this week, and I had like 2 of these gaming tweets popped up, and I thought it'd be funny to share. So has anybody played Far Cry 5 yet?
Not played.
No,
I've seen
and
it
I'm so upset because I want to play that game. I think I'm going to buy it next weekend. I think I'm going to... But God of War 2 is coming out next weekend also. I mean, God of War remake, reboot, God of War 9, whatever God of War it is, it's coming out.
Do you need donations for your Far Cry 5?
Buying a PlayStation 4.
You might. Well, I came across an article that said the shooting game Far Cry 5 has a healthy fishing community. And it was funny because I put the link in the show notes, but they had a whole link or like a whole thread about this game and how many people came to play Far Cry 5 but have stayed for the fishing. Like, a lot of people just like to log in and fish in Far Cry 5.
Okay, I was going to ask you to clarify whether that was fish with a F or fish with a PH.
With an F.
Do not let a game have a decent fishing thing in it, because wonder how much time I spent in WoW fishing.
God, that was painful.
Speaking of WoW and fishing, that reminds me of when Orcs Valley first came out.
Uh-huh.
And so many people, they'd go in, if you don't know what Orcs Valley was, it was a big, I think it was 40 versus 40, large battleground.
Yes, it's still there.
And so when it first started out, these battles would last literally days. Like, it would last for, 36 hours.
Sometimes it would, yes.
Because the way that, the back and forth and the respawn and all that went. But there would be a lot of people, they just go in there and they just go down to the water areas and just fish during the battleground. And it was so annoying because they're taking up slots and they were just
blame Blizzard for that, because they would put certain loot in those ponds, in those lakes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they did eventually, combat it. They removed any loot from fishing. And
I had the golden fishing rod, and it was the shit.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I liked the old Orcs Valley versus what it became when I tried it later, where it was just a rush to the gold, and everybody just avoided every other PvP person there and didn't do any of the objectives. But
They switched it though. They did fix it, and Ultric Valley was one of my favorite PvPs. When I used to play some.
because I thought it was so cool because it actually had like objectives and all that, and to start
had
off
the towers and stuff. It
to
was
start
cool.
off with, like, I think it was like whatever, like, you could be in there from like level 51 to 60 or whatever it was. And so if you were lower level, you were going to get rocked in PvP, but you could sit there and go and like round up the wolves or the rams, or you could go and kill the wolves or the rams to get the harnesses to turn that stuff in, or you go kill some NPCs to get blood to turn that stuff in. And it was really neat because they had all those other objectives that you could do. You go and you could save the wing commanders out of the like Goose and Maverick.
Yeah, it was cool.
So you could have the dragon riders and stuff, and so it was cool having all that stuff. And that stuff was still in there, but then when it became a race to the gold, you never saw, the wing commanders go up there. You never saw the big huge elemental, or the wolf riders and all that stuff. And I thought that really lost something when they, the way they changed it and the way that the meta gaming changed, where nobody bothered with that anymore.
We got so far off track with Far Cry 5.
Right. So
Well, let's start with
apparently
fishing.
there is a fishing community that is totally digging Far Cry 5. So if you find yourself eating up the content in Far Cry 5, you might find yourself sticking around for the fishing. And they were sharing some of the tweets. They made like a whole tweet, like a thread about all these tweets about people digging it. And it was like, Adam 1988 said, Far Cry 5 has won me over as a chill fly fishing simulator. Hashtag PS4 share. And
Oh no.
there's another one, Shane Smith had said, Far Cry 5 is amazing. You can blow up entire towns, fly planes, have high-speed chases, gunfight cultists, wreck a big rig, girlfriend. And what have you been doing in the game? I've been fishing for several hours.
But you could do all that. It was
Yeah.
called Just Cause 2. They had
And then, yeah. And then Ashley has said 4 more hours of work, and all I can think about is fishing on Far Cry 5. So, I mean, there's just an unlimited amount of tweets. No, Mom, I can't go to school. I'm fishing in Far Cry 5. Spent half an hour fishing in Far Cry last night. I love fishing in video games almost as much as I hate fishing in real life. So I just thought, has there ever been a game that has gotten you guys, you started playing it for one reason, but you found an entirely different reason to log in that had nothing to do with your with original intent?
Ooh.
Zelda, the Princess Twilight. I found myself fishing a lot in that one for some reason. I can't remember what it was.
What really made you keep you in there fishing? Yeah, it's like that's not something that you would think about doing.
Now, you could fish in, if I remember correctly, you could even fish back in Ocarina of Time, right? Or am I thinking
I don't
of
know.
Wind Waker? I don't know. I have to look this up now.
I just remember in Princess Twilight playing it on the Wii. Like, it was so fun because it was kind of interactive, and you
I believe
actually.
it's called Twilight Princess.
I know that
No.
Witcher
My bad.
2 Witcher 2 had a card game, and it
Witch or
actually
something like that.
and it actually spawned into its own independent app, and now people play it by itself. They don't even go into Witcher anymore because now you can play that card game out of the game. It's its own game now. Gwent or something like that. Yep, it was called Gwent.
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
called Gwent.
Oh,
Yeah.
and yes, they actually made a standalone game for that.
I know I just said that.
What he just said.
It's super
Oh,
weird.
sorry.
I didn't realize that by muting him, Foe, that he muted you too.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Hey, I'm not Gigabyte.
I thought he muted both of you.
I just clumped you two into one.
At some point. Another
Oh,
game
right.
that reeled me in for fishing was
Uh-huh.
Stardew Valley. That one.
Stardew
Yeah.
Valley.
Fished
I
in that one
suck
for
at
hours.
fishing in Stardew Valley. I can't get it to work.
It took me forever.
God.
And you had to get the upgraded pool before it
That's-
actually got fun.
Okay, that's probably what it is then. Okay.
I will
So
have to
that's-
say, getting back, like World of Warcraft, when I first played that game, I was like, I'm gonna freaking fight things in dungeons. And I'm gonna be this like superhero. But I really became addicted to just collecting stuff in that game. So
yeah.
that's what I would do. I mean, I would have to have every pet. I had to have like almost every mount. I was always on the hunt for a new mount. And then Transmog came out, and I spent so much time just soloing old raids just to get stuff to Transmog. I just became addicted to it, and I ran a whole big thing in the auction house, and I would just sell equipment and people were buying it like crazy so they could transmog all their cool stuff. So that became like a money source for me, was like going into old raids, getting stuff to transmog, putting it up on the auction house, and then selling it for super high prices, and people were buying it so they can make their characters look cool. So
that feature was pretty cool when that came out.
I got hooked into the auction house. There's so many things in WoW that I got hooked into that I didn't originally sign up for in that game.
What was now the big question for WoW? Did you ever do the achievement where you got the title? I think the Crazed, where you basically had to get revered with like every single faction in the game.
No, because I hated getting revered with factions.
Yeah, because one of my friends did that, and for like Darkmoon Fair and stuff like that, you had to turn in so many of the things, and for a couple of them, you had to go and kill all these one type of things in order to get revered with the one, but that made you hostile with the other, and then you had to go and turn these other things in.
That's why I hated
and get revered back with that one. And
it was too much of a grind. That was very grindy. Like, I didn't mind hunting down like pets and mounts and stuff because it felt less grindy because I had to like look for them and explore and stuff like that, and kind of hunt these things down. Like the other stuff was just grindy. It's like kill 40 of these things and return the pelts. Kill in this, and you had to do it over and over again.
I did
every
it for
day.
one tune, and that's only because a guildmate was obsessed with the titles. And I sat with her and did it once, and I swore I would never do it again. What was that one place you go to through Booty Bay? That little, like in that cave area.
It was only one faction.
Like you take the boat to it.
That was Booty Bay, right?
Yeah,
that was
Booty
Booty
Bay.
Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Booty Bay was that little like piratey kind of feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
I remember
like a
grinding in
city.
there for hours. Trying to get
what
the
was
factions.
it? Oh, there was only one faction.
Bloodsail Buccaneers or something. The Bloodsail Pirates.
Yes, the Bloodsail Pirates or
Yeah.
Buccaneers, whatever they were. I never did that one. Although I did go and hunt a bunch of them down because there is this really rare outfit that you could get that looks really cool on rogues, and I spent a long time grinding those guys to get the gear that I wanted, because there was like this one rare, super rare shoulder drop. And I got it finally. Chest piece too. But
tabards.
the only faction I ever grinded was because I wanted that white snow leopard mount. That's the only faction that I actually grinded just to get that mount.
Speaking of the faction grinds, I like
Nether Drakes. The Nether Drakes grinding for those things.
Yeah. So I did like how they eventually changed the factions, at least during the time that I played, where it started off where the factions, you didn't get the tabard until you were like revered with them, and so if you wanted the tabards, you had to grind the faction in order to get it. But then they changed it, I think, during the expansion that had Archimond and all those, where they changed it where you got the tabard at like honored, and then you wore that, and then you would earn faction for them whenever you did dungeons. I like that better because then you didn't have to grind as much in order to get the tabards.
Yeah, that implementation was kind of cool.
Well, the next piece of news that I came across, did you guys hear about the tornado that swept through a neighborhood, but there's a teen that just kept playing Fortnite?
I saw the headline where it says, kid just buckled down and played Fortnite as tornado sweeps through North Carolina or something like that.
Yeah, it took place in Greensboro, North Carolina. So the strong storms barreled through Greensboro neighborhood on Sunday night. A young man on Phillips Avenue helped his sister and nephew stay safe despite being caught up in a video game. And he said, I was sitting at home and I was playing Fortnite, and all of a sudden I hear a bunch of noise. Antoine Williams told the WX212's Mallory Lane. He said he looked out the window and he started seeing the roof come off of the houses in front of him. That is terrifying. He said next door, strong winds blew a family's home away from its foundation. He said, I sit back down because I only have a couple people left in my game and I was going to try to finish the game, but then it started getting worse and I started to see the power lines come down, so I told my sister and nephew to come to the bathroom. While seeking shelter in the bathroom, he still focused on his game. And he said, honestly, I was thinking about the game, but I can't even scroll down all of a sudden.
That's why you need Fortnite on the Switch.
He's like, oh, well, honestly, I was thinking about the game, but I was hoping everybody was okay around me. He said, after the storm let up, William said he went outside to check on his neighbors, who were all right. So
How did he not lose power
playing
during
on
the
his
whole thing?
phone or what?
I know, he kept playing, but other people's houses were blowing away off the foundation. Power lines are coming down. That's just crazy how he kept rocking and rolling. That's weird.
How did
There's
he
not a
not
whole lot
lose
you
his
can-
stuff? That
Yeah,
is
I don't know.
nuts.
Got a UPS going.
I don't know, but have you guys ever
Playing off a hotspot.
Have you guys ever found yourself in this guy's situation? Not like that, but you know you should be doing something else, but you're trying to juggle two things because you just couldn't step away from the game for a second?
Yeah, cooking dinner and trying to play Gears of War and stuff like that. I used to do that all the time. Burnt a lot of good food that way.
I was gonna say
I do that now.
but nothing outside of just preparing meals. Then no tornadoes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I live in a very mellow area, so no.
So that's cool.
Not,
All right.
not that I can recall.
So yeah, that guy is gotta be cut from a different cloth, I think, to not be freaking the hell out when a tornado is blowing things off their foundation and stuff. Like
It was probably like a mechanism to help him relax too.
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
thinking he
if
could
it was-
ignore it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one thing if it was just like, oh, tornadoes are are in the town or whatever. But if you can see them,
He's like looking at
them going,
Yeah,
then yeah, that's a different story.
yeah.
Because he had nothing else he could do. He had to just bunker down and just hope it passed, and that kind of helped him get his mind off it, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because it's not like he had a basement to go to. He had to just tell him, hey, I guess, go get in the bathroom, where they do say, the central position, and where a lot of the pipes and stuff are for some reason.
I like how he sends them into the bathroom
Yeah,
and then he's
he's
just sitting there on the couch playing
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Yep, he's just like, I got better things to do.
It's the last
I've
five
almost-
people.
Yep, I've almost won.
I feel like Giga might do that with something to do with Eve, though. I feel like, that might be something. Would you step away from Eve for a tornado, Giga?
Oh,
Oh,
tornadoes
my
ain't shit.
You guys get hurricanes, don't you?
Yeah, I played games through hurricanes too.
See? It must
I ain't
be...
worried about it.
He's not. I figured you wouldn't be. You're like Steel. You're like, you should just change your name to Giga Steel, because I figured I had you pegged. You would just play right through it. All right.
Middle of
we're
a
gonna-
hurricane.
Yeah, no little hurricane step, yeah. We're going to be moving into Maint Topic. Okay, we were going to talk about crowd-funded games. I asked everyone here about crowdfunded games. Have you been following any? Have you ever backed any? Do you think crowdfunding is the way to go? So I'm going to cheat because nobody ever puts their stuff in, so I'm always first. We'll have Criikette go first, and I'll go after you.
All right, so I've crowdfunded a lot of games through Kickstarter. Yeah, there was. I haven't done I haven't funded any new games this year, but the past couple years I've spent probably an average of $200 to $300 per game that I've for the big ones, because a lot of the games that I've crowdfunded have been the ones where they're kind of the big board games, and they have a lot of miniatures, mainly because I wanted miniatures to paint and all that. And with Kickstarter, most of the times when you're when you're pledging in there, you get a lot of bonuses and Kickstarter exclusives and all that for depending on your pledge level. And so that's one of the things that's neat about it, is they'll put in like extra factions in there, or extra units, or they'll might make some pieces out of metal instead of out of the cardboard, and so you can just get some little bonuses like that. So
Well, that's cool.
so it's neat for that. So that's part of the reason why I've done it for a lot of them. So I'll go through the list. I'll just say the list real quick first, and then I'll talk about just a couple of them. So the first two were by the same people, which they're done by the comic artist The Oatmeal, and that's Exploding Kittens and Bears vs. Babies.
That's crazy.
And then so those weren't big, those weren't big set games. Those were smaller ones. And then the other ones I've done is Orcs Must Die, which also has a video game tie-on. The video game for Orcs Must Die and Orcs Must Die 2 is a tower defense game.
It's a
But
blast. I love that game.
Instead
It's
of
fun.
just instead of just normal tower defense, you're actually you're actually you're playing like first-person mode in there, fighting the stuff as well.
Yeah,
as
you're a
setting up your
soldier.
defenses.
laying
So
down booby traps and all that stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, so those are cool, and I got like video game bonuses for kickstarting the board game as well. And then Besiege is another big box one that I got. Rising Sun, HEXplore It, Gloom Haven.
Now, Rising Sun. Let's pause for
Dicenstein.
1 second. Like Rising Sun, I missed that. I totally missed that Kickstarter, and I'm kind of upset that I missed it. But then it's like, it's weird because now I had a chance to go back and get that Kickstarter bundle, but I just don't like that like the way the game plays, that type of game. But the miniatures are so
I feel
fantastic.
like somebody's beating on something.
Yeah, every time Fo talks, I'm hearing
It's like-
I'm hearing thumping noise coming
It's
from.
Do you
like
hear it
you're-
now?
Not now. No.
No, but it's like when you're talking, it's like it keeps.
Do you
something
hear it?
keeps
Like I'm talking
pounding.
now. Do you hear it?
Nope. It's good now.
That's so weird.
Guess we'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you hear it now? What about now?
Nope,
It was
it's good.
weird. I
Okay.
could hear it too. That's so
No,
weird.
yeah, I
You
was
know what it
hearing
was?
for-
I think I was like talking
That's
with
it.
my
There it
hand.
is.
Okay, I was talking with my hands and hitting my table, and the stem of my microphone was like shaking.
He's
Yeah,
Ah,
that's
yeah,
totally
that's
it. That and yeah. Okay, phone. That's what you were
Do you hear it now?
doing. It sounded like you were going.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it was that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So
So the miniatures for that game are just so amazing
yeah.
and they're all like samurai style miniatures and all of the monsters and things from like that type of like setting, and it's really cool. The miniatures for sure was worth the price of that board game alone.
Yeah. 'cause
So
the
you
miniatures-
weren't a fan of the gameplay then?
It's like a hidden game, and so it's basically you're just kind of like making it's like an auction kind of for like every action that you do in the game, a bid you have to make.
Yeah.
So it's like, so say you're like going into the fight phase, you put up a certain amount of like points, and then the other players do, and then whoever wins, they'll win that fight phase by putting up certain resources. I don't know the exact rules, but like that was kind of the gist. And a big portion of the game is teaming up with another player, and that could sometimes feel rude when there's like an odd number of players.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And I don't like that.
I'll read the quick description from Board Game Geek for it. Is Rising Sun is a spiritual successor in the same mythic big box series as Blood Rage. Same designer, same artist, same student, same sculptors. Rising Sun is a game about honor, negotiation, and warfare in a feudal Japan where the ancient gods, kami, have returned to rebuild the empire. Whereas the distant ancestor of Blood Rage was Risk, Rising Sun claims diplomacy as its distant ancestor. Tackle negotiations, alliances, and war. Capture hostages and commit seppuku. The game features an honor track which rises and falls based on your actions. So yeah, it's the categories are bluffing, fantasy, miniatures, mythology, negotiation, war game.
And there's like
There's card
some.
drafting, and so I haven't played it yet.
I was about to buy it, and I did a lot of research into it, and I was just like, okay, like it just like say there's like some models are like these like large like serpents and dragons, and you could get them on the table, but then they could just be taken out by like a simple bid. It's really just it just wasn't what I was hoping for it to be. Because those miniatures are so good, I wanted to see the miniatures take more of a role in the game. They're kind of just placeholders. They're not really, they don't really have any real stats to them.
Yes. But yeah, so of the list of games that I mentioned, there's actually only been 3 that I've gotten a chance to play. Besieged is one of them that I've played. That's another one of the miniatures games, and for that game, what it is most of these games are actually cooperative games, which is the kind that I like, especially because if I'm going to be playing with my kids, I'd rather not have to get competitive and have
co-op games are my
have
favorite
somebody get
too.
upset or anything like that. But co-op games are always my favorite anyway because I'm not a huge competitor. I don't have that huge competitive spirit, so I'd rather just play a cooperative game where it's win or lose in a team. So Besieged, you're a team of players and you're defending this castle. And these monsters are summoning in from these portals, and you have to defend this messenger that you send out to get help, and then let them come back. So each person, they have a different power, and then you have different areas where you can buy spells, you can buy weapons, you have a catapult, and so you have to destroy these creatures as they're trying to make their way into the fort. I forget how the I think you might get to choose what order your characters go in each round, and that way you can do the strategy for it. We've played it 3 or 4 times, and we have gotten nowhere near winning yet. So I think we're just missing some strategy that we need. Where a lot of these co-op games, they're not. A lot of them aren't very easy to start with until you kind of learn some of the mechanics of it. So that's where we're at with that. But it's one of those. It takes a while to set up and all that. And it takes a large space to set up, so we don't get to play it that much because you have to have an open table. And my gaming table has not been open for a while because it's been used for my daughter's crafts, or we have computers and laptops on there. So we haven't had a chance to really break it out again recently. But the other 2 games that we have played more, because they're much smaller, is Exploding Kittens and Bears vs. Babies. They're nice because they're like 15-minute games. They're just decks of cards as far as the size. Exploding Kittens, the easiest way to describe it is Russian roulette. Essentially, there's a deck of cards, and you put in a certain number of exploding kittens, which are cards that have these cats that are playing with some type of explosive. One of them has them like playing with a grenade. One of them has it like carrying a candle through a TNT factory. And so you put one less exploding kitten as there are players, and that way, there'll be one person remaining at the end. And essentially, the game is play cards and then draw a card. And so the cards you have are trying to either make you not draw cards, or kind of manipulate the pile of cards so that you hopefully don't draw the kitten. So it has some play back and forth where you can like make it where you get to skip your turn, but the next person has to take your turn and their turn. You can look at the top cards and not rearrange them. You can look at the top cards and rearrange them. So it's fun because it goes quick, usually, because there's not a whole lot of different cards you can do. There's like 6 different cards, and so there's not a big learning curve.
It's like Uno, kind of. It's like a card game, like something that's simple.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it's fun because you sit there and, like, especially if you know the stuff is going on, you get that playback for like, I'm gonna screw you over, and I'm gonna make you draw this thing.
I've had that game in my hand in Target multiple times.
Yeah, because they have it at Target now. But I kickstarted it, and I also got the not safe for work version, which it's the same thing. Just the pictures on it might be a little more vulgar looking. I can't recall any of the examples for it. But it's the same game, just the pictures are different. And then Bears vs. Babies was the second one that came out from the Oatmeal, and for that one, essentially you're trying to create these different types of bears that are going to fight and kill babies. And what it is there's like 3 different stacks. There's like a water stack, a land stack, and an air stack. And your bears can be of any of those 3 varieties. And it's kind of like, in a way, like Munchkin, if anybody played that, where you put your bears out there of the particular variety, and then you can add stuff to them. Like you can add different arms and legs and stuff to them to make them more powerful. And then you can also play babies face down on the stack. And then whenever a person decides, they say, like, I'm going to attack the water stack. And so you flip over all those babies and you see how many points, how much power they have. And if your bears are powerful enough to defeat them, then you'll get those points. If they're not, then you lose all those bears. And I think you might lose something else too. But so it's another simple game. But it's fun because the pictures on them are fun, and just the combinations you can get, because you can get like like one pterodactyl wing and one lobster claw and squid legs to go onto your bear. So it's just interesting and fun like that.
There was a game I was going to fund that's similar to that. It was Sushi Go-Go or something like that.
Sushi Go.
Yeah,
Sushi Go. Yeah.
So those are the ones I played. Dicenstein is another smaller one. It looks like another one where you're using dice to kind of create a monster. Like there's different types of dice that that you can have. There's like a mummy, there's skeleton, there's like a Frankenstein, there's a werewolf, and so you kind of create your monster based upon the dice rolls. I forget how exactly you play that, since I only read the rules and didn't play it yet.
Now, Gloomhaven on that list, that was a game I wanted to fund, and that's another game that I just missed. I totally missed the Kickstarter for Gloomhaven.
Yeah, the Kickstarter for that was actually for the second printing. that I just got, and I just received that one not too long ago. Like
I
maybe
hope they
2
come out
months
with
ago.
another printing, so I'll totally buy into it.
And-
it looks so good, and it's
yes.
like a campaign game. It looks great.
Yeah, exactly. It's a campaign game, so it has it has all the like a scenario book. So it goes through and it says, like, for scenario 1, here's if anybody ever played the old board game Hero Quest, where you would have different scenarios, and it'll say, for scenario 1, you set up the board like this. Here's what the board looks like. Here's where the creatures are, and all the people that are playing it, they have characters that go from scenario to scenario to scenario. And you
can play it solo too if you want.
Yeah, there's solo missions that came with the Kickstarter as well. But like as you beat the scenarios, you're supposed to have these stickers, and you put them on your board to show that you're progressing through.
I'm not putting the stickers on.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, I'm probably not going to put them on my board, just like that Risk Pandemic or whatever it's called, where you're supposed to put stickers on your board, and then you can't.
Because you're supposed to be able to. You're supposed to physically change the game for like your campaign.
Yeah, so I'm not going to put the stickers on, but it looks neat because you have that progressive campaign. I think there's areas where it goes through and it says, like, oh, you can either go into the woods to investigate this thing, or you can go to, the river to investigate this other thing. So I think there's paths that you can take, different paths as you go through. And I think they're, like, when it was first coming out, there was the ability where people were doing online campaigns, or I guess they were, because everybody has the same campaign book, where they're able to play it with some of the virtual game spaces and all that, but I didn't get a chance to get into that. HEXplore It is another one. It looked like it was very similar to Gloomhaven, where it's kind of, I think that one might be a little more dynamic board generating, but it also has a big combination of, I think there's races and class combinations, kind of in a way, kind of like I think the Small World game, except you're not choosing a new one each time. But that one looks neat too. But I haven't gotten a chance to play that one either. So yeah, I've spent a lot of money on these games and haven't had a chance to play them, because for some of them I don't just want the two of us to play, my son and I need to find more people to play with it, and as well as find the space and the time to play them, because most of these games I know are going to take several hours to go through.
You funded some of those big games they're like long games.
Yeah, and I think it was Gloomhaven, HEXplore It, and Rising Sun. I think I funded them all around the same time, and that was like a year and a half ago. And then they all got pushed back for the release dates, and they all came within like a month. And my wife is seeing all these big things. I'm like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "This is money that I spent last year. Don't worry about it. It's just money that that has been budgeted."
Relax, we already.
That's so funny.
It's too late to complain about it. This was a long
exactly.
time ago.
I funded this a long time ago. And then the other thing that I fund pretty much every year, which isn't necessarily a game, is the bones from Reaper Miniatures. Yes. They have their bones line, which instead of the pewter figures, it's kind of a PVC-ish type plastic figure that they've been doing that now for the past 3 years, I think, or maybe 4 years.
Perfect for D&D campaigns, those models.
Yeah, and a lot of them are, you can find the same models in pewter, but then they remold them for the plastic. And so when I Kickstarter them, I end up spending about $1 to $2 per model, but I'm also dropping like $300, but I'm getting like 300 models.
Right.
And there's a large variety of them. You'll get a whole bunch of different goblins or bugbears or kobolds or different types of creatures, and so then I can kind of play around with different things and not worry about, I spent $10 on this model, I better do a great job on it. Especially for me, since I'm still learning on painting. It's good to kind of have those throwaway models that, whatever, I screwed up, that was $2 for model and $2 for paint, whatever.
Yeah, because the average was like $1 a model, and what's awesome about that is, some of the models are like basically man-sized models, but there's a lot of models in there that are like large, like dragons and ogres.
Yeah.
And like those would be way more than $1. Those are like $10 or $15 models by itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a good deal. I remember that deal.
Yeah, like I said, I've done that. I think for there's another. I've done it 2 years already. I missed the first year, but I've done. Yeah, they're in the fourth year. I've done it for 2 and 3, and I've gotten those. I think I've paid in for 4, and I'm waiting for them to finish that one. So, yeah, I've spent a lot of money on the crowdfunded stuff because a lot of times it's just I get bored, sitting somewhere, and so I'll pull my phone out and pop up Kickstarter and scroll through and then see something, and then, oh crap, let's find this thing.
So you're like actively seeking it out.
Only when I'm bored.
Only when
It's
you're
addictive.
bored.
It's addictive because let me tell you what's addictive about crowdsourcing games and stuff. What's addictive about it? It's you get all these exclusive things that you're not going to be able to get when the game actually releases.
Yeah.
So you kind of get like addicted to that, getting all these freebies in the beginning, and that's part of the addiction of it.
Oh, and there is one more game that I've crowdfunded, but it hasn't come in yet, and that's actually the only video game that I've done, and it's from I'm trying to remember what it's called now. It's from the same guy who did like all the Castlevania games. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I should have prepared for this. What is that called?
You did. You just have a list that goes on forever.
Exactly. Bloodstained. It's called Bloodstained. It's by Koji Igarashi. And I think he's the guy who is responsible for like most of the Metroid and Castlevania games. So he had left, I guess, Konami, who was doing those, and he has this one kickstarted, and hopefully this one's coming out soon. I think I ordered it for Xbox One, but I think that got funded like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I'm still waiting for it to finish up. So hopefully that one will be coming in at some point soon. But that's it for me.
Alrighty. Well, a game that I have been, it's been about, I want to say, it feels like it's probably like 3 years I've known about this game. But it's called Crowfall. Have you guys ever heard about that?
I was just looking at your link.
Was that the game we were looking at with Lumen in?
I don't know.
Where he bought into like being a mayor or something or governor?
No, that's something
No, that's
else.
Chronicles of Valeria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chronicles of Valeria. Yeah, Crowfall is a new type of massively multi-online role-playing game. The Worlds of Crowfall feature unique maps, rules, and victory conditions. Every world is different, and players join teams, factions, guilds, or noble houses to vie for control of each world. And then I put the link in the show notes. It has been in... they have a Patreon. It has been growing steadily from the ground up. They constantly keep putting out more content. They give you, like, I think it's in, like, pre-alpha stage right now. But, let me see, it is. Yeah, the Patreon starter pack. Early access. You can get early access. You get a digital copy of Crowfall, immediate access to the 24/7 live pre-alpha testing. And there's 3 different groups. And you can buy in now for $49.99. And then for the basic one. And then there's the Pioneer starter pack and Adventure starter pack. And let me see. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. They didn't do any stretch goals, but they've raised what? Prior stretch goals was $2.4 million plus, and then it says we have a Q&A. They've done all kinds of different stretch goals with like offering new characters and stuff like that. But with Crowfall, it was neat because from what I've been told by people who have gotten their hands on, is if you like crafting, it has a very, very huge immersive crafting in the game, and the PvP is supposed to be entirely different. And I want to say, like, you could knock people off their thrones, like somebody is like in charge of that area.
How's the fishing?
I know, right? How's the fishing? Not sure.
Well,
but
let me watch the harvesting video.
Yeah, right now it's in that pre-alpha, and you can sign up for the beta. And I'm trying to find, I have all my links, and I gotta go through all my links and try to find what I was looking for. What I can't figure it out. Okay, right here it is. All right, so you can explore the ever-changing universe. You can trade and craft your way to the top, and you can become an unstoppable warlord. Sounds like something Gigabyte might like, the whole unstoppable warlord. Every world in the Crowfall universe is unique. It has its own map, relics to be discovered. Even the game rules change from one world to the other. So it's like even though you jump into one map, it's not necessarily going to have the same rules or even setup. So you can travel between the worlds. And what is this fog of war? Let me see what the fog of war. The new worlds are constantly being discovered, and they start surrounded in the fog of war. Be the first player to discover a lost city or forgotten dungeon. The world is yours to discover. But I've been watching throughout the past couple years the different combat and stuff that they have, because more people get in, and they allow certain people to put out YouTube videos and stuff like they do. And it says that the scouting and cartography scroll maps of undiscovered land and share your discoveries with other players or hoard your knowledge and sell your secrets off to the highest bidder. And artifacts and relics. Hidden in the fallen worlds are the relics of ancient empires, power artifacts that can turn the tides of war and recover these lost mysteries and harness their power to shape the fate of the world. It just seems like it seems like one of those games, similar to what you guys were talking about with Luminen, that I think this is like a game that like you would just play only this game for a while because there's so many different things that you can do with
as those
game.
massive multiplayer games usually are.
Yeah, like it's like this is not going to be something that you could just hop in, but they do, and they have been very active when it comes to wanting to be different, because I think forever we run into a lot of the same. You know, everybody says they're going to be different, and then you play it, you're like, this isn't different. This isn't different. So let me look it up on Twitter, because you can follow the guy. They're very, very friendly, interactive for being on Twitter for like over 3 years and dealing with the internet people.
I was sitting here watching that Hearthstone video, and it totally reminded me of art, because they just showed a guy run up to a tree, start punching it just to get resources so he can get tools.
Guess I'm gonna punch some trees.
Punching some trees. Yeah, but you can follow him on Twitter at Crowfall Game. But it's gonna have a big crafting community, and like it just seems like it's gonna be very multi-layered. So that's the one. I've never crowdfunded a game, but this is the only one that I've really been following. I know a lot of people talk about Star Citizen, but I've just been kind of over the past couple years just checking in to see how close these guys are, how well they're doing, if I feel like they're going to fall off, and just be like, oh, we wanted to make it happen, but we just couldn't. These guys keep chugging forward. And on one of the videos I was watching, this one guy had bought into a package, and he went to check back on the game, and he was impressed because he didn't think that they were going to be as far along as what they were. And he felt like the game felt pretty baked then. And then now they even opened up and broadened their spectrum on what they want to be able to do in the game. And they're even on course with that. So he was pretty
Well, they better come out with a game they raised like $2 million.
A hell of a lot of money.
I like how you can make a giant guinea pig as a character.
Did you say you can make a giant guinea pig?
Yeah, it's one of their races.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, what's the lore? Let me see.
What was that other game that made like $4 million or something like that? It was like the most funded.
Was that Star Citizen or no? Was that
Star Citizen? It was
like a part 4 of like some Japanese JRPG. It was like a JRPG. It was like, I think it was like not Disgaea, but it was I forget what it was called, but it was like a part 4 or something. And yeah, I think
you could be a Minotaur.
And an elk.
Draco.
We'll have to let Provoke know you can be a Minotaur. I see what you're talking about. You can. The races are human, Minotaur, Centaur, and then the guinea pig is called Ganesian or Ganetian.
Yes.
It was a half elf, a Nathari, a Fae, wood elf, high elf. A human. Oh my god.
Human. So the one I was thinking of was Shenmue 3.
An Elkin. Shenmue 3, you say?
Yeah.
And an Elkin. And, why am I losing my stuff? Oh, yeah, that was the race. And then the classes was, what was that, Bestiary? What is this? What am I reading now? That was lower.
If you went to the bottom of the races, there's a link to classes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because with Shenmue 3, it said the campaign met its initial target of 2 million in under 8 hours, making it the fastest Kickstarter campaign to reach that amount. It ended in July 2015, having raised over 6 million, making it the highest funded video game and the 6th highest funded campaign in Kickstarter history.
Wow. And then, did you say it never came out, or?
I don't think it's come out yet.
One of those.
But, well, I mean, it's one of those, video games usually take a few years to come out.
Yes.
So
if you want them to be baked, you definitely want them to be baked.
In June 2017, they announced that it had been delayed to the second half of 2018. So maybe it'll come out second half of this year. But like the Bloodstain that I had kickstarted, the Kickstarter ended in 2015, and it was supposed to come out in March of 2017, and here it is, almost May of 2018. It's still not out yet.
Interesting. Well, it looks like The classes, you can be a Knight, Confessor, Templar, Ranger, Assassin, Druid, Frostweaver, Champion, Myrmidon, Cleric, and a Duelist. So it's cool that you could definitely see where you have a lot of choices. It's not one of those games that you can be like one of 3 things or one of 4 things. You can... There's a lot.
It looks like each race has like 3 options of what they could be, so it
spreads out. Yeah.
Oh,
so you're not getting a lot of the same, like how World of Warcraft has been very diluted. It's kind of like as the years go on, everybody can be everything. Yay! I like it when games separate it more. So that's cool.
So that makes me think of what could be a good main topic for a future episode. Is would you prefer games that have basically your skill set is baked into your class, or the ones where your skills are very fluid and you get to mix and match and customize it? That could be something for a future episode.
Write it down, Criikette.
Write it down, or did it happen?
No,
so that's the game I've been keeping my eye on, is that I put all the links in there for what is Crowfall, the funding, the Patreon, if you want to check it out, frequently asked questions, if you want to check out the artwork and get an idea, all that jazz. So I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Faux Render.
What up, peeps?
Yeah, buddy.
Throw some garlic on it.
So basically, I did a lot of talking with during what Criikette had to say about Kickstarter and all that stuff. And Kickstarter is just an amazing way of crowdsourcing because you get all the freebies, all the stretch goals and things like that. But things that I funded, I'm about to fund a team for a game called Blood Bowl, which is a fantasy football game made by Games Workshop. But Games Workshop had kind of not paid attention to it for about 5 to 10 years. And this year they finally are giving it some love, and last year. And but what happens is there's not a lot of teams out, and there's a lot of teams that you could field in the game, and the models are very old. And so there are other companies constantly making quote-unquote fantasy football models which go perfect for Blood Bowl. So I'm thinking about crowdsourcing one of those teams because they look really nice. And the stretch goals are really cool. And for video games, I funded probably one of the most controversial crowdfunded games. And that was Kingdoms of Amalur: The Reckoning. And the game was great because it was the story was written by R.A. Salvatore, who writes a lot of stories for like Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. And it's a fantastic author. The artist worked on Spider-Man comics and things like that, so the art was on point. And the game was actually really good. So the game finally came out, and I got all my stuff, and the game was fantastic. I loved the game. Unfortunately, the guy running the whole campaign was, I want to say he was a baseball player. He was a baseball player that decided he wanted to become a video game creator. So he crowdsourced this game, got a bunch of funding for it. But along with the funding, he also got a loan from from the mayor of Seattle.
Oh.
And due to his being into sports and not a businessman, he made the game, but the game undersold the budget from which he put into the game.
Yeah, so
even though the game was amazing and did really well for a crowdfunded game, he just spent way too much money and didn't know where to put his funds. He didn't do the proper advertising, and it undersold.
Yeah, so it says here it was Kurt Schilling. He was a former pitcher for the Phillies.
Yeah, and he wound up going bankrupt.
All because he wanted to make a video game.
He didn't go bankrupt, but the company went bankrupt. Okay. And he was never able to pay the loan back to Seattle.
Wow.
Because the company went under. So he kind of got a bad name because apparently when the condition to getting this loan was he was going to develop the game in Seattle, which opened up a lot of work for the people there. But the company was supposed to continue on and strive and give people jobs. But it went bankrupt instead.
Well, that sucks.
But, Steam has it on sale all the time for real cheap. It's definitely a game worth playing because it's a lot of fun. The mechanics of the game are super snappy, super quick. The graphics are great. And the story is really good. It's a really good game.
I didn't realize they had it on Steam.
They do, yeah, because I got mine
Yeah.
on console also, but
Yeah.
it is on Steam as well.
Yeah, I have it on the 360. I haven't finished the game yet. I feel like I need to go back and do it. It's just kind of difficult. I feel like it's difficult sometimes to say, "Oh, I'm gonna pull out the 360," and yeah.
According to Wikipedia here, it says on March 10th, 2012, it was projected by NPD that the game sold over 330,000 physical copies in the U.S. And Kurt Schilling later tweeted that it sold 1.2 million by the 90-day mark. However, Rhode Island governor claimed that the game was a failure and as needed to sell over 3 million copies just to break even.
Right, because he mismanaged his finances
Wow.
horribly wrong.
So,
That's stupid.
Crazy.
yeah, 'cause
But-
looking at the the box scores, so to speak here. I mean, it's got 7 5s to 9s. I mean, so that's a decent score. Although
It's annoying because it's such a good game, and I was really hoping that somebody would eventually buy that IP because I would love to see that series go on, and I would like to see a sequel because I loved it. But it's sad we probably would never see a sequel to it.
That does suck.
But that's all for me. I have crowdsourced that one thing, but I'm about to start crowdsourcing a couple more things because there are things on Kickstarter that make it really worth it. And most of the time, when it comes to tabletop stuff, most of it comes out because I know a lot of people crowdsource and then the project is like a flop and it never gets done.
Uh-huh.
But one thing you have to realize when you do crowdsourcing and when you do Kickstarter, you have to, be ready. You might pay for this game now, but it's not going to come out for like a year. You don't get it right
Right.
away. It takes anywhere from at least 6 months all the way up to a year or a year and a half.
So, that kind of segues. I don't have any notes put down on this because I didn't have too much of a chance to look at the notes before we actually started. But I crowdfunded Star Citizen. And if anyone's heard of Star Citizen, that is one of the most ambitious space sim games that's been put into development.
You mentioned it
And-
4 times.
Yeah, no, I've definitely mentioned it before. And I know you've talked about it too, Fo, a little bit. But basically, it's supposed to be a spiritual successor to Wing Commander. It's made by the same guy who did the Wing Commander space games, back... I don't know exactly when they came out, a while ago. But it's been people have been able to crowdfund it since 2012, and it still hasn't released yet because they kept adding stretch goals because they kept getting money, and as they added stretch goals, they kept getting more money, and they've funded over. Let me see if I can pull it up, and I'll put the link in here. In the show notes so that you can see the website. But let's see. Where is the amount of money? They used to have a big ticker of how much money they raised. I guess they've hidden that a bit. So I'm not sure.
They raised a lot of money.
Over $10 million, I think.
It's a lot of money they raised for that game.
Yeah,
And hopefully it does come out one day because I'm super interested in it. I'm not going to probably crowdsource it, but I will probably... If it does what it says it's going to do, I will probably be playing that game.
Well, so I got back in. I'm sorry, excuse me. I crowdfunded it back when they were doing full game packages. So you'd have access to the closed alpha content and get a game package with the single player and the multiplayer all bundled together. And now this late in the development, you can buy there are different packages for different things, and I don't know if you can just buy the entire thing at once anymore. I think you can either get the single player or the multiplayer. Yeah, they have a standalone pledge for Squadron 42, which is what they call their single player game. You could get a package just for a starter ship in the multiplayer or whatever. And then if you want access to the alpha or the beta later on, you have to buy those little packages separately from everything else. And sometimes they do sales where I think you can get the whole thing and all of that, but mostly they're selling everything piecemeal or instead of giving you large packages for it, because they certainly got enough funding when they had the full packages themselves. Yeah, I wish I could see how much money they raised. Yeah, I'll get back on that. But I think it's pretty cool. They do have some from some neat proof of concept stuff. They're in alpha version 3.1, as they call it, where they've got a persistent or somewhat semi-persistent world multiplayer where you've got a space station or multiple space stations and a couple planets or a planet and a couple moons and different outposts and fueling stations, and they've got some little missions, and so they've got kind of a small scale version of a test version in essence of the game going, and people have some fun with that. The only thing that kind of holds you back on that is the performance of the servers isn't too great. So yeah, so I haven't logged in a while because it's just kind of a pain to try to get it to work properly at the moment. But
alrighty.
Yep.
I think Criikette, you're gonna say something before we move on.
Yeah, so I popped up my Kickstarter to see if there's any that I missed, and while it wasn't another game that I had kickstarted, it was related to a game. It was a really cool Kickstarter. It was called RPG Coasters. So this guy, he designed these designs for the different classes for like D&D, and he made wooden coasters that he then etched the designs into and put like felt on the bottom. And so he was selling on me. You could buy, you could spend so much for for getting like 5 or whatever. And I ended up doing the one of everything, which ended up being like $400. But I got like 30 coasters, and so they're really cool because the designs.
Well, that is not a bad price either.
Yeah, are just so awesome looking. And so there's like one for like the warlock. There's one for the priest, the cleric, the warrior. And so since I was hosting a D&D campaign in my house, it was really good because we were using those for there. But then I just looked at the creator of that. I looked at his page, and apparently there's 14 days left. But there is a Fireball Island 80s board game reignited and restored that's going on. So there's a Kickstarter out there for a remake of the old Fireball Island board game.
The Game Master coaster is awesome.
But so if anybody remembers that game from the 80s and likes it, it looks like it's $60. Looks like for the base game, it's $60 if you wanna pledge for it. And then it looks like they also are making some expansions for it, which if you get with all the expansions is $130. But,
yeah, that was a decent deal, dude, because each coaster is like $12.50.
Oh yeah, the coasters. Yeah,
did he give you stands with them too?
So yeah, that's funny. So since there wasn't many of us that got the one of everything, when he sent it over and I got it, it came with this holder thing for him. It was the stand. It was a big rectangular stand that had slots in it, so you could stick them in there sitting up. But he designed it poorly, where because the coasters were rounded, there wasn't enough room to sit them all in there. But like once I got in, I pulled everything out and started putting it in there, and I found that out. I messaged him through Kickstarter and said, hey dude, I'm one of your people. I just got my stuff. The stuff looks awesome, but the stand doesn't work. He's like, oh crap, really? I'll get a new design out. And within probably a week or two, he had a new design for it that he crafted and sent out to me to replace it to work. And like it was real cool that he just followed up that quickly on it and everything. So I was really pleased. And like I said, just the designs for this, I'll put a link for it in the show notes. But the designs for these things are just so cool looking.
Well, those dice cups, like this guy has nice stuff. Those cups are nice.
Yeah,
the dice cups. I might buy one of these dice cups.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to get. He had a follow-on RPG Coasters to the Cthulhu line. That I would have liked getting some of those, but I had already spent a lot of money on this stuff. But yeah, he's got a lot of cool stuff because he's using those same designs. Yeah, like with the second one, he made dice boxes and stuff too with the designs on it. So the work is high quality. So yeah, I'm gonna try to keep an eye out.
Yeah, looks it really nice woodwork.
Yeah.
There's a company that makes wood boxes for like miniature games. It's like magnetized on the bottom, and they're really nice. Yeah. It's like a wood box where you could bring your like faction with
Yeah.
you, and they're really nice. I almost funded it, but they were like 150 for a box. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna spend 150 just for a box.
Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing that. I'm like, oh, I want that, but I haven't been playing, tabletop enough lately to, to justify it to myself.
But they were beautiful. They're beautiful boxes, though. They're super nice. Yeah.
But yes, there's a lot of easy ways to spend a lot of money off of Kickstarter because
Etsy too. Etsy's another one. Like if you start looking on Etsy, which is like basically a website where you could go and people that want to sell their homemade
crafts.
stuff,
Yeah.
or crafts and stuff, you could go there, and there's like tons of stuff for like board games and whatever game you play. There's somebody making stuff for it.
Yeah.
And there's this one guy. He makes it for role players where it's a little box and it holds your one figure, your pen, the dice, and everything in one little wood box. And then the lid of the box is like a rolling thing, so you could roll inside the box.
Oh yeah.
A dice tray. Yeah, it's really nice. It's super cool, and they're super nice.
Awesome.
So Blue will have to get one of these things now that he's playing tabletop.
That's
You,
right.
you know you want the character box, Blue. It holds your dice. It holds your pen.
That is pretty
The
awesome.
lid is like a thing you could roll in. A dice tray. Super cool.
Etsy is a good place to go because it's all handmade stuff and you can just find anything. You can find some creepy ass stuff too that people, like one guy put like a hot dog in a Ziploc bag and was like trying to sell it just to be an ass.
You know what? If
Like,
somebody
"Here, buy
wanted
this."
it, I bet you someone
right?
bought it.
There's some weird stuff, like there are people making stuff. It gets a little sketchy.
Well, someone sold like a
It's like
potato-
Nightmares
like-
of Etsy or something.
potato salad recipe on Kickstarter.
Oh, you're right. They wanted to explore the best kind or like how to make the ultimate potato salad or whatever.
Yeah. I was like, they put it up there as a joke, but it got like $13,000 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, why didn't we think of that?
Exactly.
Oh, I was looking for it. I would always find so many, like there's articles and stuff, like crazy weird items sold on Etsy and stuff. It's always the funniest to look through and see what people actually sell. Creepy. But we're going to be moving on to the next segment. Here we go.
I think we've already
Alright.
talked for a very, very long time. But
Very long time.
actually, no, we're doing pretty good.
No, we're doing good. All right. I have been, we took a break from recording last week. And so all last week I played Pixark. And so far all this week I've been playing Orcs Must Die again. So we've been, extending, because we do the Rated Arc podcast for Orcs Must Die at ratedarc.com. For you guys that don't know that, we host two podcasts. And for, our Rated Arc, we like to do faux science projects, and in our gaming group, we like to do faux science, and that's just where we play like Arc but different ways, and we do it together because sometimes when you've been playing a game for like over 2 years, it can get a little boring if you keep doing the same kind. So we spend like a couple weeks or a month or however long when we all just kind of stop finding it fun, then we just switch and try it another way. And so now we're doing it on an RP server, and it's RP PvP, but PvP has to happen with RP and for an RP reason. So we've been having fun with that because we realize that there's so many different things you can do, because the way they have it set up on the server is that if you just want to go hog wild in PvP, you can build a really awesome base.
So far, it's been a blast. I've been having
I
a good
think it's been a
time.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just not, you can do many different things that you want to do. And so, like, you can build in the Badlands on the server, and that's just like a PvP free-for-all, and they just ask that you don't have a jankety base. You have to have something worth raiding if you're going to be raiding other people's PvP bases out there. So,
I don't know if anybody's built out there because I just flew through that area earlier today collecting the desert drops because it's in the area where the desert drops are, and I didn't see
okay.
any bases. So
well, yeah, because it's
I don't think
quite-
anybody's venturing out there yet.
Yeah, I think people are starting to fill, they keep getting more people coming in and stuff, so it probably takes people a while to either work towards that as a goal or work towards your RP, because there's so many different avenues of the game that you can do. So, one of the things they have is that you can kill on site. They don't care if you kill on site at drops. So that you can do that. And like one of the characters told you that he likes to just randomly knock people out. Like he just shoots them with a drink dart and knocks you out. Doesn't kill you, so it doesn't go against the rules. He just he just knocks people out. So that's what his character likes to do to people.
Yes,
so,
it actually reminds me, I was out getting drops today, and there was a red drop came down. I was going to grab it because it was still coming down, and I saw that there was a Quetzal sitting there with like turrets on it. So and someone was there, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn around because if this guy just turns his turrets on, then he's gonna blow me apart. And so I just turned around and let that drop go.
Yes, I was having a lot of luck this morning or this afternoon trying to, because I went and got a couple. I got like an Ascendant, I think something Gilly blueprint and an Ascendant sickle thing, and I was being really cautious because I'm like, this is pretty much anybody could take me out right now. I ended up getting taken out by a freaking Archaeopteryx that knocked me off my damn bird from way up hell high in the sky, killed my ass. I'm like, damn, I took all my free time playing, so trying to find my damn body. Finally found it, got all the way back. I was like, But
and unfortunately, fun. I got on too late tonight. As I was getting on, I looked at the Discord, and I saw that they were having an event going on. It started somewhere. Well, I got on about 7 o'clock, and it started somewhere between 6 and 7. And essentially, it sounds like they were spawning in like waves of raptors, and you had to have a 3-person team. Yeah, and it was like you designate one person as the tank, one person as like support, and one person as like the hunter. And so it's like the hunter gets like a compound bow with arrows, and the tank, I guess, gets like riot gear and a riot shield and stuff like that. And so they're saying that the winner, which I don't know what was determined the winner, maybe it was the team who lasted long enough or whatever, they'd all get like level 300 aberrant raptors spawned in and given to them. And then everybody else who would just participated was going to get a shoulder pad of their choice.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got on in there in the middle of it, and I wanted to try to get in. There was another person that was trying to get in as well, but they're like, you need a team of 3, and so the two of us like, oh, is there anybody else? So but there was not. We couldn't get a third, so I did not get to participate. But so it's cool that they are having some events like that already going.
Yeah, that's what I liked, and I've been having fun just snooping around, like flying around and seeing like everybody's, and kind of being a little leery because it's like that catch-22. You don't want to load your base up for PvP because you want to welcome RP, because everybody sees PvP and they think that it's like a free-for-all PvP, and it's not. It's RP. It's a roleplay server, and they want you to be able to kill someone, and they want bounties to be able to be a thing, and if somebody just goes in there and acts a fool, it just kind of takes the fun away from it, because what's the sense of having a bounty or build up if some douche canoe's just going to go in and try to be somebody? So yeah,
just because there's PvP doesn't mean there should be a lack of consequences.
Yes, there are consequences, but they just ask that, and they're not really super strict. It's not like you have to do this, and because there's a lot of RP servers that are like, have to stay in character, and you have to act like this, and you have to, do all this, and everybody's been. I mean, there's a lot of different players on there, so you're going to run into a lot of different personalities, so that's cool too. And at the end of the day, it's just a game, so
yeah, and I'm hoping the capitalism mod that they have going is going to get used more.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
It'll allow us to kind of sell our own wares.
Yes, and you get coins. They have like that capitalism mod where you could sell stuff and get money in game, and then purchase other stuff.
Yeah, so it takes a certain amount of selling stuff in order to be able to set your own stand up.
Yeah, I think that is a cool part of the game for Arc especially, because a lot of times people get in, they build their base, and then they play it a lot like a single player, and it gets bored fast when you just play it like a single player. That people just log out. They forget that you actually maybe should have some goals, and maybe interact with other people. Sometimes it's more fun, but so yeah, that's been fun. And I got to dive in and join some of you for Foe's D&D campaign last weekend. That was a lot of fun. I've never done it before. I had no idea what I was doing, so it was cool. Foe made a character. I had one ready that I could check out and rock one out, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a really good time.
When she was knocked out for half of it.
God, yeah, I was like, dude, don't even play, because me and Blue knocked out. No, it was like me and Provoke, not you. Blue bailed with you. You guys left to go chase that other horse, and Provoke and I took down 2 people, and then I got knocked out.
Not my fault you can't.
No, but not before your string on your bow snaps.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Not my
I
fault
got
you can't
knocked
stay
out.
on your horse.
Yes, that was some shit.
You had
Yeah,
a string of bad luck.
What kind of
Yeah.
elf
A
can't stay
lot
on a
of bad
horse?
luck.
we were doing really good, and then I went doing really bad. For girth, I was winning. My girth, we rolled for girth. Well, so who went to the bathroom? We were rolling for girth. So I beat everyone with my girth. So I was doing really good with my rolls that night. So we do that every other Saturday. So that's cool.
Yeah, 'cause I think you rolled so high on your girth that my whole entire gnome can fit inside there.
That's true. You can hide out. It's like a notch in a tree. You just climb up in there. It's like a kangaroo, but not.
I was about to say, it's like a kangaroo pouch.
You're like a
My-
kangaroo.
My character ended with a crit once, so I had nothing to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. It's so true. So that's fun. And I'm really looking forward to this Saturday because I've always wanted to try World of Warships, and we're starting our Cross-Realm Rebellion gaming group free to play Saturdays. So for this Saturday, it's World of Warships. So I'm excited to see what this game is about because it's one of those games you always hear everybody always goes, do you play World of Warships? Do you play World of Warships? Do you play? And I was
Or
like,
World
no,
of Tanks.
no, or World of Tanks, right? Yep. So I'm excited about that. Gonna get our free-to-play days back on. We're rotating them with D&D. So if you're a Cross-Realm Rebellion gaming group member, just know Saturdays, if you're bored, you have options. You can listen to us do D&D, or maybe join in a future campaign, or you can get your free-to-play game on. And then on my TV, I'm still watching Krypton. I still like that. Have you guys seen that yet? Have
No.
any of you?
Oh,
Not yet.
I like
I'm
it.
not big
I
into
like it.
Superman stuff.
I really like it, so it's got stuff. So
I feel like
Brainiac. What?
I feel like that's what they had to do with Superman, just to change it up a bit. Cause,
Probably. It's been around.
but, so Krypton, that's all stuff that's happening on Krypton,
Yes.
with like his grandfather or something like that.
Yes, with his grandfather. Yep.
So yeah, it's Superman before Superman.
Yep. So that's where Brainiac is going around right now and absorbing up entire universes or like planets and stuff. And now he has his
Brainiac.
Brainiac is got his sight set on Krypton. So right now the storyline's all about that, how they're going to get rid of that, how they're going to get rid of Krypton or get rid of Brainiac, and because he's trying to take over the joint. And I still really like the show Siren that I've talked about before. It's not your mermaid Disney mermaid show by any means. These mermaids are like have perma PMS. They are not happy campers. They are not. They're better. Like the sirens in this show, they can walk on land if they need to, and the longer they're out on land, the longer they can stay. But the minute they hit water, they turn into assholes. Like they just. Everything is prey to them the minute they get into the water. So this one guy was trying to help her find her sister, and she had to go into the water because she was drying out, and he fell in, and she tried to eat him, like try to kill him. And so he's like, what the shit? You know, you were just friends like up there on the dock, and now you want I'm pizza to you. So he got out, and then so the whole story so far, they've been trying to find her sister because the government swooped in and stole her sister, and she had to go and wanted to find it, but she's a freaking mermaid and she couldn't speak English and she knows nothing about the world that we live in. So, but they're really quick learners. So the whole story has been, how can she get to her sister? She's working with the people that she tried to eat because when she's on land, apparently she doesn't want to eat them. So yeah, they found her sister now. And now the friend who was, their friend was taken and her sister was taken by the same people. So they got the sisters, they're back in the water now, but now they're like, oh shit, our friend Chris, the government's gonna come after him because he escaped too and he knows too much. So that's where we're at right now. Gotta figure out what happens
Siren
to old
Hunters
Chris.
101.
So it's a real fish out of water story.
It's a real fish out of water story. So, but I like it. It's at that time where, a lot of shows are going to be going off for like summer break and shit. And you're like, no, it's just started getting good and they're going to make you wait. So, till fall. So that irritates me, but been busy with all that fun stuff.
That's
How
why I
about
don't
you?
watch like real live TV. I just binge it on Netflix.
Yeah, this is what I do. I just open it up and watch it through my browser because if you have Xfinity, you can just go right to like sci-fi and it'll go, pick your browser, and then you click on it, and it talks back and forth, and it's like, oh, okay, you're cool. You can watch your shit right here on your computer. So.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about the having to wait next week.
Oh yeah, I don't.
I did that growing up. I'm through with it.
Yeah, I hear you. So you just wait for the entire season to get downloaded.
Yeah, because there's enough shows out there that I want to watch that I don't need to watch the current one.
I really want to watch that Space.
Lost in Space.
Lost in Space.
Yeah, like
I've actually started watching the first episode of that.
Have
It
you?
is pretty great.
See, Luminan's on board. He's been watching it, and who else was watching it? Was it Dr. Ab? I can't remember in the group.
I have like a whole season of Magicians to watch.
It's on my list.
Yeah, see, exactly. It's the list. I'm still thrilled that freaking Joe McHale has the soup. Talk Soup on Netflix because I love the hell out of that show.
Does he?
Yeah, he's on Netflix now. I love I love it. I love watching because I don't know if anybody did other than Criikette. Has anybody ever watched The Soup or was it? Yeah,
yes,
it was The Soup,
it's
right?
funny.
It's right back where we left
originally
off.
It was Talk Soup, right?
Yeah, I think it was Talk Soup. Yeah,
Originally I think it was just the talk shows, and then they
put everything else.
To be everything, yeah.
It's so funny. They go through all of the wacky, wackadoodle shows that's on all of the networks, and they pulled out all of the crazy-ass clips and, like, sketchy people and, like, jaw-dropping moments and, like, WTF moments, like, what? And he puts it into a show, and it's so funny. It just makes you go, these people are roaming the world and breathing oxygen. Like, they need to not reproduce. A lot of crazy people. That's good. And that's on Netflix, too. How about you, Mr. Willektron? What do you have?
Well, I bought a Steam controller.
How do you like it?
Some birthday money that I got from my parents. So.
Well, happy birthday! Didn't even know it was your birthday. When was it? Did we?
It was last week.
Oh, cool.
Yep,
well,
yep.
happy belated birthday.
So how do you like this controller?
Thank you. So it's pretty interesting. I haven't gotten to dig into it a whole lot yet, but basically. So the cool thing about it is it does have one analog stick on it, but kind of one of the more interesting features is that it has two kind of like touchpad, like two discs that are touchpads. There's one on the left that's like a D-pad.
Haptic pads.
Yes, haptic pad. That is a great word for it. But so they have these two touchpads, and they are completely programmable. Like you can set them to act as either of them. You can set either of them to act as a mouse or as a joystick or as an analog stick. Just like there's so much customization on this thing. They have the two bumpers and the two triggers. The cool thing about the triggers is you can push them down part way, and that's called like the soft pull, and then there's like they'll click at the end, and you can do a hard pull, and you can assign different functions to those things too. So like if you're in a first person shooter, you could set it to aim down sights and then actually fire when you pull it all the way. Stuff like that. If it's just and it's got the A, B, X, Y button and the middle button. The other cool thing is it has where your fingers hold on to the back of the controller. There are another two buttons there, and the pads push in like you're clicking a stick, and the one analog stick will also click in, and there's also gyroscope in it, so you can do some motion controls, some pretty simple motion controls in there if you set it up to do that as well. So it's got a whole lot of customization that you can do with it, and from what I hear, like you can do some crazy stuff, and it seems really neat. So I'm looking forward to being able to dig in and figure out what I can get it to do and how I can get it to work.
I was curious about that controller. When I picked up the remote play thing, I was gonna get one.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So I had the Steam Link a while ago because it was like $15 on Amazon, like 6 months ago or something like that, and I picked that up, and I've had that for a while, and it's neat. So it'll be interesting to see how I can pair up the Steam controller with that.
Yeah. So
I've always wondered about the Steam controller, so that's cool.
Right. Yeah, I didn't get to hear you talk a lot about it, but I picked up a Steam controller about a year and a half ago, and yeah, it's it takes some getting used to with the haptic pads, because I'm used to having more resistance.
Oh yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of like a touchpad, like but a little better, in my opinion. Yeah.
Did I lose him?
Did he just cut out for anybody else?
He said, eh. Then he disappeared. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello?
Like have messed with your settings on your touchpad, say on the on a laptop or something like that, but they used to have these edge detection settings where you could if you moved your finger to the edge of that, you could go ahead and it would keep moving the mouse, which I'd never really found all that useful. For something like this, it seems like it would be really useful, especially if you want extra precision in a first-person shooter or something like that, and you just feel the need to use a controller instead of a keyboard and mouse for whatever reason. Then basically you can have the precision by moving your finger around on the pad, and
Right.
if you hold it at the edge, it'll keep spinning so that you don't have to keep lifting your finger up off the pad like you do with a regular trackpad. So I think that's a pretty neat little thing as well.
It came in real handy when I got near Automata, because that game it just plays a lot better with controller than I think it would with the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, how is that on the computer? Because I've heard some things about the port being pretty bad.
Oh, I don't know. It was awesome on computer.
Okay.
I mean, I binged that game, and I think we've talked about the game before, but if we haven't, it's neat because it has a lot of replayability. Because essentially, you need to kind of play through it 3 times in order to really get the true story out of it. Because
I was gonna say, I think I've heard that you're supposed to play through it more than just once.
Yeah, because the way that it's the way that game is set is you play through it once and you're playing as the one main character, the 2A I think her name is, and you kind of have this partner that's helping you out because you're the warrior class and your partner's kind of the tech class. And then after you beat it the first time, then you play through it a second time, and now you're playing as the other person. And there's a couple places in the story where where the two of you got separated, and so you get some different storyline going on because you see what's going on in his perspective during that time. Gotcha. And as well as I think it adds a little more there. And then after the second playthrough, then you get a third playthrough with another character that you come across in the game, and so you play through it that third time, and then you kind of complete the whole story with that. But there's 26 total or different quote unquote endings you can get, and it it keeps track of them. But some of the endings are like if you die during the kind of the prologue scene, it counts as an ending because it says basically like you never got started. Another one is the characters are like androids, and so you have this memory chip in your head, and that's kind of the whole thing of it's not a spoiler because that's how you see that right at the very beginning. And if you extract that memory chip from your head, you die, and that's another ending. And there's a couple other like little things you can do that just give you an ending. Like you get to another spot, and if you walk away from the mission, you get an ending. And so it's just other ways to do it. But I haven't unlocked all 26. I got probably about 10 of them.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was a real fun game, and a lot of customizable stuff with it because it's one of those where you get these different chips, and you have so many memory slots in your character, and the chips they take up a different amount of memory, so you can go and you can increase your damage or increase your health, and takes up so many chips. And so you could put 3 of the health increases if you want more health, but it takes up some of your memory locations, so it gives some nice customizability to it. But I recommend the game. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I definitely want to pick it up, but I think I want to get it for PS4 rather than PC, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great on console as well. Like I said, if you get it for computer, I highly recommend using a gamepad of some kind.
Cool.
Alrighty, does that mean it is Mr. Foe's time to talk about Hearthstone? I was mixing the word turn and time, and it came out time.
Timer.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
Well, it's my turn, so
yeah, come on.
I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone lately because the expansion came out, and we've talked about Hearthstone a bunch of times. But I really got back into it. I kind of took a break from it for a little while, but this new expansion's been a lot of fun. Although the new expansion brought to the meta a lot of really, I don't know, some of the decks are they're just brutal, and they're not fun to play against. And it's been a while since we had decks like that, and there's so much good in the expansion, but there is a lot of just brutal, just non-fun gameplay as well. But I'm kind of hooked into it for some reason, but overall I like the new expansion for Hearthstone. I've been playing Arc with everybody else, doing the RP stuff, Pixarc, been playing a little bit of that, and I've been playing a little bit of Overwatch because they just had a co-op campaign going on, and Overwatch co-op campaigns are a lot of fun, and you get loot and stuff like that, so I've been playing a bunch of Overwatch. And what I've been mainly doing, though, is there is a Warhammer Underground Shadespire tournament coming up this weekend, and I've been painting models like crazy to try and get them ready.
Yeah,
I've been painting one of the new war bands called Morgor's Fiends, which is basically a bunch of Chaos Knights and a demonic hound, which is pretty cool.
How far have you gotten, or do you have a lot you have to still do?
I think I could finish him by like tomorrow.
Awesome.
So this could be good.
Show us the end results in Discord.
Of course.
Absolutely. I was gonna show you guys the fajitas I made for dinner today, but then everybody ate them. But oh my god,
I know. Don't you hate when you get like the afterthought, like after you're done eating it, you're like, I should have took a picture of that.
It's all simmering. I'm like, oh, this is gonna sound delicious. And then my mom came over for dinner, and everybody just inhaled it. Gone. I was like, damn, this would not look good coming out, but would have looked good, really good. Before
I do love fajitas.
Yes, don't take pictures of it coming out.
I know, we should totally do that. Make a channel in Discord for what your food looked like. Yeah, no, we shouldn't.
Just call it the Outhouse Special.
Yeah, exactly. The whole
deuce.
And by the way, I know I said this before. If you're looking to tip your toe, like take your toe and dip it into the tabletop wargaming side of things, really check out Warhammer Underworld Shadespire, because the entry is super low end, and it's a super fun game. I know I said this before in the past, but I have to promote this game again.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
No, that was it.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk to
Yeah, me too. I thought I was also, but then I decided that's good.
Well, me and Foe had a really good conversation about him and his minis, and I'm actually kind of I'm excited to see how his hound turns out, because he went through some shit with that thing.
Is that one with a broken tail?
No, it's just that there's a process when you put together models and you want to paint them like high detailed models. You get these things called Mould Lines, and when you put together a model, you'll get a gap from where you had to attach like the arm or the head or something, and you have to take putty, a green stuff putty, and like putty in all of the cracks and gaps, and that just takes time, and it's a little bit annoying, and these models, especially that hound, had just like a humongous gap along its back. So I had to make that look smooth and not like there was a gap there.
Wow. So it'll be really cool to see how you mastered it. I've never painted any models, but I really like looking at all the ones that you guys share. Is that something that you were going to get into, Blue?
No. I don't think I have the patience.
Yeah. Or the time, right?
Exactly.
It's like you already are limited. You're like, what am I going to do? It's either this or that.
Yeah, I'm just loving seeing the product that...
well, I've been torn back and forth. That's been a lot of my thing, because it's like, am I going to play for 3 hours tonight, or am I going to paint for 3 hours tonight? Right. What am I going to do,
Or split it, but then you can't really get a lot done.
It's a battle.
Yep.
Yeah, and playing you always wins out for me.
I do admit, though, like most of the time playing wins out the battle most of the time for me.
Or that's the good thing about Arc sometimes is the servers make the choice for you. You go to log in, and it's like, man.
Exactly.
And then you're
but
like,
what's cool about it?
I'm just gonna paint.
But once it's painted, it's done.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, true. That's cool.
Not to mention, while you're waiting on the mods to load, you got a good 10-15 minutes.
The other night, my computer crashed, and then I was like, screw it, I'm not turning it back on, I just painted.
Foe in his bed day.
Yep.
But at least for me, 10, 15 minutes isn't much you can really do on the painting because the time it takes you to get out the paints, get it set up, and then clean up and all that. To me, it's not worth it for that much.
I already have it all set up though on my desk, so.
If only we could find a way to tabletop across the country. Wait, wasn't there one? Was that?
You can. There's tabletop.
Tabletop Simulator, yeah.
How can we do it?
Just everybody
buy it from
download
Steam.
it and we
Everybody
play.
buys
I was gonna
tabletop
say,
simulator.
How much does it cost, though?
Like
like-
$20.
Yeah,
But you have to get the game. Like, I guess I don't understand. You have
No,
to
most
get-
of the games are free. Most of the stuff is free.
Yeah, basically a lot of it is kind of like mods for a game that people will just make, and you can download and load it into the game, and you're good to go.
Oh,
Pretty cool.
Okay. Well,
I've done
I'll
that
be
a couple
damned.
times with some of my friends that I met that I know in real life.
Fun.
Had to clarify that because you guys are my friends too. I just
Yeah,
I think
thank you.
actually, dude,
Not
I
like
think most of the
Luminen,
time.
who likes to abandon us on
We're
April
the
Fool's
Digi
Day.
friends.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
wondering,
you're
do you have to download it
you're
to
the-
play?
we're the
or-
crazy uncle friends.
I think you don't have to download it beforehand, but I think when you connect to a certain server, it forces you to
Download
download
it
it
for
before
you?
you can
Gotcha.
actually play it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
I already bought Tabletop Simulator, so I'm up for it.
We could play Heroes of Midgard, which is an awesome game. There's so many
But
games we could play on there.
There's
if we
actually a
wanted to.
lot of board games you can play. Like I know
Exactly.
one big one that my buddy, going back to the original main topic of the Kickstarter stuff, was Zombicide. And my buddy, he missed the initial Zombicide Kickstarter, but then he's funded everything since then. And because they've had like 3 or 4 different expansions for it, and that's another co-op game. And we've played it several times in person. But he also, they have that game on the Tabletop Simulator, and he plays it pretty often on Tabletop Simulator. That's a pretty fun game too. I really enjoyed playing that one. So when we'd go over to his place, it would usually be between 2 and 5 of us would play that co-op together, and usually we'd win the game.
I feel like I just need more nerdy friends. That's what I need.
Well, I need more nerdy friends nearby again.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody's further away.
Although
Awesome.
or you just need to find your local game store.
No,
Yep.
we've been over this. We've gone over this.
There's
I
got to
would
be one
stand
nearby
out like
you.
a sore thumb. Yeah, I would stand out like a sore thumb. I'm telling you.
To what?
To
So?
everything. I don't have. Never mind. I'm not
But
going to go here again.
with all the
I know. I'm just.
I've
I'm
already
listening.
ranted that it's just not the same. It's just every place is not the same. Someday. But yeah, maybe I need to go on the other town next to me, but I just don't got the time. I'd rather just do everything online because I ain't got time. If I'm gonna leave the house, I ain't got time to do that. I gotta get grocery, all that good stuff. You know how it is. But
Like, where'd these
we're gonna-
owls come from?
I don't know. Probably Giga. I blame Giga. He's been awfully quiet. He's up to no good. Mr. Blue, what have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of the RP arc with
Have you?
you
I
guys.
haven't seen you around. I don't.
Well, okay, it's like
No.
2-3 hours a night. I'm just saying.
I'm picking on you because you've been out
But-
every night with us.
But
it's me, you, Criikette, and then sometimes Foe.
It's called sarcasm.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
You
didn't.
tell him, Willektron.
you know.
Blue has a problem.
I deserve that.
Get him, Willa. Get him, Willa.
Well, I mean, I just appreciated the irony of me getting the sarcasm
yeah, I know,
this
right?
time.
I appreciated it as well.
But I've been trying to force myself to kind of go back to the basics. I'm trying to keep myself in first person. I mean, it is pretty difficult, but it's kind of doable. I've been avoiding changing the gamma, so when it's dark, I've been using torches, which ended up causing a very fun adventure with
Wait,
you and
you
Bo.
didn't
Oh,
play Ark
boy.
in first person?
What's that?
I know, right?
You didn't
I've
play
only
Ark in
ever
first
played
person?
I was always in third person.
Really?
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's weird with the aiming. I could never get the aiming to work right when you're trying to.
I ever go to third person if I just want to like see something cool, like it's oh, what does this
Me
new armor
too.
look like?
Yeah, if
I
I wanna
only went
look at
to
my
first
armor,
person
is
if
that
I
the
was
only time I
building
do it?
something
Oh, I'm the
or
opposite.
putting stuff down.
I'm the opposite. I will always play in first person, and sometimes when I'm building, I gotta go in third person to just kind of see if I can get it.
See if it's even, yeah.
Yeah.
Or if like a table, how far
always
tables away
tripped
from
out
the
on
wall or
me.
something.
Yeah.
Like I'd go to play something and it'd just go in some random spot, so it always drove me nuts.
Is that more on because you're on console, or did you also do that when you started on the PC?
PC. This was all
okay.
PC. But yeah, going back to the adventure as one point. Oh, there's this dead Anklo in the water. Oh yeah, huh? Smack!
It wasn't dead, was it?
It was dead. It's just, I thought it was foe, ran up behind me and punched me into the water. And then, upon reviewing Esme's video, I found out Esme ran up and just punched me and I went flying.
Wow, you automatically assumed.
What a dirty
Well, I
move.
totally thought it was you. I totally did.
It
And
was so damn funny.
yeah, it was great. And then that damn Trudon that I thought was a compy.
We had
I don't think I've ever screamed so loud.
I don't think I have.
I will have to see if I can add that to the show. Maybe I'll put it in our rated art tomorrow or something. I'll put it in, or I could put it in both. But God, that was so funny. I've never heard, because dude is always so chill, no matter what. It's like, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, I think I'm up on a rock. Like, he went up on a rock. I'm up on a bank. And I'm like, I think that's a Trudon down there. And he's like, no, I don't see anything. I'm like, it's in the bush right there. But it's because I had my gamma on and he didn't. So he couldn't see shit.
I had a
and I could
torch.
see everything. Yeah, he had a torch. And I'm like, no, that's a Trudon. He's like, So then I was like, so I shot at it. And he's like, I heard your arrow go by my head, but I still don't see it. So then he goes, I'll go see. I think it's a compy. So then he runs down. And all of a sudden, you hear, ah!
He did do a high-pitched scream.
It was very high pitched.
It was like a spider and an elephant. It was like, wah! And then it knocked his ass out. So then Foe was like, dude, it's not time to take a nap. Okay, come on. Then he's dragging his body. And the whole reason why we're on this adventure in Ark was because we were supposed to go try to find these invisible species exploits.
Well, no, because Criikette eventually found him. We just went past him somehow.
I think so.
Well, I
Yeah,
found him in a
'cause
different area.
He found some.
Yeah,
He didn't
well,
find any.
but it
Yeah.
was fun.
It was a blast. I laughed my ass off. But I made a video of all of the shenanigans in that one night. Too many. Yeah, it was the Anky. There was an Ankylosaurus, and it was nighttime, and it was dead. And I said, because I didn't see anything around that could have killed it. And I was like, is that a dead Anky in the river? And then Blue's like, I don't know. I'm going to go see. And then he like walks up to the edge of the...
It was the edge of a cliff. And Foe wasn't quite there yet, and that's the reason why I thought it was Foe that punched me in. And then the video, it was clearly Esme.
Yeah, it was clearly... I said, I don't know. Go see. Poof. And then he's like, I punched him one time and it shot his body off into the river with the freaking Anky. And he was like, ah! It was so new. He lived. It's not like I killed him or anything, but... It was funny.
I did get to test out Luminan's dragging corpse thing on the
Yes,
Anklo.
you
It
did.
kind of worked until I hit the cliff and it went flying.
Yeah, it turned into some hot air balloon and it floated off into the air. It was so funny. A lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's been a lot of fun. And then I ended up encountering my first RP experience yesterday. I've never used the game chat, in-game chat. So that was a little awkward, and then the dude that I ran into, he was kind of creepy. He was like tall and slanky, kind of like think of like Slenderman, except for with flak armor on, and he was role playing as a goblin, it was really weird, and I feel bad for the guy because he sounds like such a socially awkward person, but he might have just been role playing. That's just how he is role playing. I don't know. But it was super awkward for me, and he was a weapon salesman. No, that was the downside. He was just in straight flak armor. But apparently he was super new to the server, so.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, it takes a lot of balls or vajayjays to just go and find someone and start your first RP role, because I tend to just hide in the water.
Yeah, like when when we had an RP person come over to the base the other day, it's like, I'm just gonna hide over here while you talk to the person.
Because I'm playing it like real life. If somebody rolls up at my doorstep, I'm like, I don't owe you nothing. I gotta open my door. Like, I don't have to open my door. That's
you can take my house. I'm gonna hide in the water. Fuck that.
I don't even care. Well, I was out gathering, I think wood or something, and I was behind the house, and then Criikette's so chill. He's like, oh, got a visitor. And then I'm like, you can talk to him. I ain't talking to him. I'm hiding over here. Plus, though, I've been having that problem where I can't even see half the map. So I was like, my luck, by the time I actually because of the weird glitching through the earth shit that you and I, only Blue and I, the short people and the tribe seem to be having a problem with.
Right.
So, yeah, it has been fun. Just
The most
screwing around.
awkward part about my experience with the goblin guy was the fact that he stalked me across the map for a solid like 5 minutes.
He did?
Yeah, he was
So
he was
won in
flying
that
around.
interaction.
Yeah, he was planning that shit.
That's awesome, though. Good for him, though. That's awesome. That does take a lot, because I don't think I could just go stalk somebody and then be like, talk to me. I've been playing on the server for a week and I've not seen one person. Yeah, I could see that. That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, it was awkward, but it was fun.
Yeah,
I'm-
you're like, kind of like your first time of anything, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh, that was too silly. All right. So, does that mean that it is Gigabyte's turn to tell us about incursions?
How about
think
Gigabyte?
we
Be
lost
sick and
Giga
not
for the
get on,
night.
It's
Unfortunately,
canceled. I'm too sick to properly record. I'm out. Have fun, y'all. Or I'm out, y'all. Have fun.
Yeah, his allergies have been kicking his butt this week.
oh
has.
dang,
Yeah, really.
That's never fun.
Yeah, he sounded like last night when he got in Discord. I was like, dude, did you just wake up? Because he literally sounded super groggy, like he just woke up. And yeah, it's his allergies. So.
Yeah, allergies are pretty bad. That's why I had to go away for a couple minutes earlier because my son woke up. He's like, I need eye drops right now. It's
Aw.
horrible.
Sucks. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
he-
well then. Oh,
He gets
sorry,
it bad. Well, I was just saying he gets his allergies really bad. We thought he had pink eye one of the first times that he got it bad because his eyes are all crusted shut.
Yikes.
from allergies.
I would take allergies over pink eye any day, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
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 I remember that stupid weirdo goo they would have to put in your eye when, like, that weird ointment. Is that still how it is?
No, usually pink eye is just taking antibiotics.
Oh, like, we used to have to put some ointment in our eye when we were little and had pink
It's
eye.
probably like an antibiotic ointment or something.
It was, and it was horrible.
So I have a funny story about pink eye. Back when I was
I
in
thought you were
college.
going to say you have a funny story about ointment.
Whose pillow did you fart into?
No, but back when I was in my freshman year of college.
God.
Like it was
Farting
spring.
into a pillow.
It was springtime, and like all of a sudden my eye just really started hurting, like a stabbing pain.
Oh,
And-
wow.
And so I went to our campus health services, and I was telling them what was going on. They look at it a little bit, like I don't know. I think it might be I think it might be glaucoma. We're gonna send you over to. We're gonna
Jesus.
send you
Wait,
to
glaucoma? They were telling you that?
like an ophthalmologist. So they made an appointment for me for an off-campus ophthalmologist. So I'm a freshman. I don't have a car, so I had to like get a ride to go out, to this eye specialist and all this stuff. And I go out there, and they put this this like orange liquid in my eye so they can look at it with a blue light so they can see see it better and all this stuff. And they're like, they told you they thought it might be glaucoma. Like it's like early onset pink eye. So all you have to do is just take a take a warm compress and just hold it on there and then wipe it away. And so I didn't even know what glaucoma was then. So I'm sitting there surfing the early internet because this is '95. So I'm sitting there trying to find what glaucoma is. I'm reading all this. I'm like, holy shit, this stuff's horrible. And this is what it might be. I'm like thinking I'm gonna be going blind and all this stuff.
Right.
And no, then I find out that it's not even like kind of not even like the full blown pink eye yet. I'm like, I was like this. So I never went back to the health service. I'm like, these people are completely worthless if they're saying that. Especially on
That's
campus,
terrifying.
on campus, if someone comes in, I would think you have either pink eye if you're coming in for something, or you have mono if you're coming in for something. It's like there's a couple diseases that spread through through campuses,
Right.
and so I would think the first thing they would go to would be pink eye and not glaucoma.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they still give you an eye patch for pink eye?
I never had an eye patch.
I have not.
You have
had
to
one.
wear like a scarlet letter if you have pink eye.
Oh,
Scarlet
goodness.
Key. Or is it
Crazy.
an eye? Is it a pink eye you have to put on?
Oh, that could be. Dad joke incoming. Ding, 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 ding.
You have
I think it already came and went.
Yeah, that's... All right, so I guess since Gigabyte is gone to go to his allergy-induced slumber, we will
look,
be
there's a
moving...
calendar.
I know, right? We will be moving on to Last Call.
It's closing time. You don't have to go, but you can stay here.
Okay. Do you got anything, any shout outs, any stuff and things that you want to share now? If not, wait a week.
I think I've said plenty.
Wow,
Have
shortest show in a while. What's up with that?
What? What is that? What?
Don't know what you're talking about.
It's called Working as Intended. Working as Intended.
Yep.
We wanted to give some shout outs to our listeners on Anchor, but that would also involve me actually accessing Anchor. So if somebody wants to, come up with some shout outs while I do this, that would be great. All right.
I mean, there's always the shout out for the Rated Arc podcast that is on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Ding, ding, ding. Good job.
So,
RatedArc.com. RatedArc.com.
Later.
Who's leaving?
Oh, bye, Fo.
Fo's leaving?
No, I thought you were just ending the show.
What? So weird.
Huh?
Have you been painting too many things? Have you been
Maybe.
sniffing?
Yeah, he's
For the
breathing
love
the
of God.
fumes,
No, we said that we're doing shout-outs, dippy-doo. We're going to say, hey, shout-outs to Classic Cludgy on Anchor, who favorited the show, and to Big Daddy Lolo, who favorited the show. We want to thank you guys, letting us know that you're listening. And also, if you want to join us in the games that we play, that we talk with, and all that stuff, or even recording this podcast, because that's what we do, you can join us at crossrealmrebellion.com. And if you want to take a look and see what we got coming up, I have included our gaming group calendar that shows the nights that we record our shows and our free-to-play Saturdays and what games we're going to be playing, as well as the D&D nights with Dungeon Master Full Render, in case you want to listen in on our Discord while we do so. All right. Are you guys ready for a Would You Rather?
Sure.
Why not?
Would you rather?
Why
I like the fifth,
not?
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, see, I didn't put that in there. That was already there. That was already there.
The mayonnaise.
Where is my Would You Rather intro? Because I really like
Cinco
that
de
one.
Mayo.
Here it is.
Are you calling Chuck Norris a liar?
Would you rather?
Oh, it's a humdinger. Oh, wow. Would you rather?
Tell me what? Oh my god.
Oh my god, that would be so weird.
No, let's not go there.
Why did I ask this?
Oh my goodness, no.
Would you rather?
Bing!
Oh, delayed shout out to Trey3000 on Anchor too. Thank you very much for applauding our show. All right, here's your Would You Rather. Get your Would You Rather engines revving. Would you rather have your pee always come out just below the boiling point, or your poop always come out just above freezing? Inquiring minds want to know.
Huh. I would have...
Either way, it's terrible.
I think I'm going to answer this one first.
Anyway, it's terrible.
I don't know. The poop just above freezing would be fantastic. That'd be the most relaxing release ever.
Would it, though?
Especially if you eat a bunch of hot foods, the cool feel, it'd be great.
You said, would it, though?
Like...
It would definitely have to be poop for me, because I would not want 300-degree piss
300?
out of my...
No, dude, below boiling.
Just
which is
below
312.
No, it's 212.
Fahrenheit, boiling point,
212. 212.
or 212. Okay, either way, 200
Either way, too damn hot.
degrees. I don't want coming out 200 degrees.
And like I said, if your shit is chill, it won't burn.
Because my shower, I don't even take my shower is set to like 115 degrees.
Yikes.
And, this is a lot hotter than that, and it's coming out of your junk. But yeah, no thank you.
Oh, God. That's so
Call me the cold shitter.
I think I also would like... Because I don't know. I feel like the hot pee really wouldn't be that bad for me. Like, as a girl. Like, I feel like...
I'm not sure why that makes that much of a difference.
I know. Well, because I don't know. I feel like if I were not a girl, like my pee would have to travel through my body further, like through, your unit, your wanker, your whatever you want to call it, your penile. I feel like you would feel it longer, where I wouldn't. Like, this doesn't have to like travel through an appendage to exit my body. So I feel like I could go either way.
As you ignite the toilet paper, as you wipe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would have to wear gloves.
Okay, so boiling water will not set anything on fire.
It would
Okay,
scald you.
I
You
know.
get like
I'm
blisters
joking
wiping
with
your junk.
That was
Okay,
called
that's-
sarcasm.
Oh, the sarcasm card is the best.
I'm not
still
sure
gonna
that's
go
the
poop
definition
cold.
of sarcasm, but okay.
I think I'm still going to go. I think I'm gonna go on Big Blue's poop train. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hop on the poop train and go because I agree.
Toot toot.
There's some things that you may consume that might leave you feeling a little, less than lovely, and you wouldn't feel it so bad if you were pooping Frosties.
That's true.
I'm gonna keep it short. Your logic is unbreakable. I'm with you guys.
I wish it was actually frozen, so it could just come out of just like
Oh my
No,
god!
no, not actually frozen. Please don't.
Oh, that'd
That's
be
not
That
what
would
she
definitely
said.
make that 2 Girls 1 Cup video from
No!
years back.
Nope,
Rocky,
not
I'm
even
gonna
going
vomit.
there.
I feel like I'm going to vomit in the back of
2 girls, 1 poopsicle.
No!
It's a whimsical tale.
No, it's a whimsical.
A tale as old as time.
Anybody ever watch 8 Crazy Nights?
All right, so Criikette, you said
I said poop.
Poop. I said poop. Foe said frozen poop, and Big Blue said poop. And we are rocking the poop tonight.
We're poopsickling out.
In case you needed to know, all right. In case you need, does anybody have another Would You Rather, or are we done with Cross Realm Cast?
I think we're done.
All right,
I
hey,
think we're good.
doggone it. There's some lag going on. Some internet lag going on. Can you guys hear me?
Is there though?
I'm trying to hit the intro button and it's not doing anything. It's like not
You
doing
can
anything
add it on
at
the
all.
post.
Dear God. Hot.
So hot.
Hot.
Go ahead, Willektron. You do know you want to.
Oh, I didn't have anything.
Oh, you know.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Hot.